Is this thing on? Hello? Is this thing on? Hey y'all, how y'all been? It's been a minute, I'm not gonna lie. Before we get into anything, matter of fact, let me go ahead and say the intro. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Treywrld, and we back with another video. Now, before we do get into the video, there's a couple of stuff that I want to discuss. So I do have a new upload schedule, and I already talked to my editor about it. I'm gonna be doing 2 videos a month. I know it kind of sounds crazy for y'all, but I just want to work on, try to get, work and stuff, trying to get myself right, trying to get, money right and everything. YouTube is again a focus that I want to have, but it shouldn't really be my primary focus. I mean, I do want to make a career off of this, and I enjoy making videos for y'all. I don't even know if y'all still here with all the 100 subscribers that I still have, 103 subscribers, which I still appreciate y'all for sticking with me, even though I've been on this long hiatus. So there will be consistent videos. It's gonna be 2 videos a month. That's all y'all can really get out of me for right now. I'm just trying to at least lay off of content creating for right now. But yeah, y'all can if y'all bear with me, I promise y'all still get y'all the content that y'all need, give y'all the content that y'all want. Also, we got the hot sauce. I will be doing the video, the long-awaited 100 subscribers video. I will be doing the video. I got the hot sauce, man, and it's not gonna be before long before I try this hot sauce. I haven't opened it, and it's been sitting on my desk, and I've just been so intimidated by it that I haven't really touched it at all. So yeah, but we gonna do it. Trust me, we gonna do it. I'm gonna get that out the way. But yeah, man, with today's video, we got how disappointing was WrestleMania 34 really? For the ones who do know and for the ones who don't know, WrestleMania 34 was in New Orleans, Louisiana. And not only that, WrestleMania 41 after this year's WrestleMania will be in New Orleans, Louisiana. Now, there's only been 2 WrestleManias, and that's 34. And I think what, if I'm correct, 34 and 31 were in WrestleMania. I don't know if y'all can correct me in the comments. I really don't remember, but I went to WrestleMania 34 when I was younger, and I had to say being there in person is the most fun thing possible. But I'm not gonna lie, there were some matches that I was invested in, some that I really weren't invested in, and then we have the main event, which I kind of was disappointed in, was AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Not gonna lie, that wasn't hitting for me, man. That wasn't hitting for me. I don't know, man. But I mean, now it's not hitting because as I go back and watch it, it doesn't really hit the same. But while I was there, I didn't really care. I wasn't really as into. I mean, I was into wrestling, but at the time, I was young. I didn't really know much about wrestling as I do now. So with WrestleMania coming up and with WrestleMania 41 being in New Orleans for the 3rd time, we finna see how bad was WrestleMania 34. We finna check this out, man. Like always, the original link to the video will be in the description below. Make sure y'all leave a like if y'all enjoy the video, man. And without further ado, we back, baby. Let's get into it.
When you really think about it, the past 10 years in WrestleMania history have been fascinating. For the past decade, when it comes to WrestleMania, we've pretty much had it all. We've had amazing shows, we've had bad shows, we've had shows in front of no fans. The past 10 years have just been one giant, colorful, pyro-filled roller coaster. But in between that roller coaster, there is one WrestleMania that to this day still makes me feel some type of way. Not because of it being bad, so to say, but because of what it could have been. WrestleMania 34 is the most confusing, frustrating,
Hold on. Let me fix the quality. Jesus Christ.
Disappointing WrestleMania of all time. There is no WrestleMania that grinds my gears more than this one. There's no WrestleMania that gets me more tilted more than this one. Why? Because no WrestleMania that should and could have been better than this one.
I am not gonna hold though. The arena, how the stage looked from the ramp to the ring, to me, the Mardi Gras look that was so tough. That was so tough to me. Like I feel like that was so cool to look at, bro. Because you got the mask and you got like the decoration. That was fire, man. That was so fire.
Let's get into it. So the show starts, and even now, all these years later, as soon as it begins and the stadium lights up and the pyro goes off, it's just like, whoa, the stadium looked beautiful.
Like, look at that, bro. Oh my god, that's looked tough. That looks so tough. I loved it, bro. And then the Mardi Gras type font, bro. I mess with it, man. I love this so much.
Stage looked beautiful, the lights were on bright maggle, the presentation was top tier. Watching this now, watching this in 2018, like I said, the first initial reaction was like, whoa. And right away, the show starts off hot with a banger. The first match of the night ends up being Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus The Miz in a triple threat match for the IC title. For 15 minutes, they went out there and put on a really fun, exciting opening match. The crowd was loving it, all three were going all out, we had some awesome spots, and the fan favorite Rollins got the win. Low-key, in my opinion, a solid 4-star match that opened up WrestleMania, a match that made the IC title feel like it was worth something back in the day. It was an awesome opener, and probably the best way they could have opened up this WrestleMania. So the show was already on fire, and this card was so stacked that they followed it up with what was at the time the biggest and most anticipated women's main roster match in WWE history.
Ooh, I remember this. Okay, you know, as he's talking about it, all the memories are coming back because, bro, and I actually do have a story for y'all. This is when I knew that wrestling was really crazy, and there were really like a lot of wrestling fans out there. So me and my dad, we went. Shout out to my father. I love him. We went out. When we went to the WrestleMania, we were kind of close to not close to the ring, but we were where we could see the ring and the ramp. And whenever a wrestler comes out, they were coming down, getting the ring. It was a good. We got nice seats. We got some fire seats. And when we went and we sat down, me and my dad, we heard that these two people in front of us, they had an accent. And my dad tapped the dude on the shoulder and asked him, "Excuse me, but where are you from?" And he said that him and his wife are from London. And we was like, "From London, really?" And they said, "Yeah." This like I think him and his wife, they either flew or took a boat. I think they flew. And then when they were gonna leave, they were gonna take a boat. And we was just sitting there like, wow, y'all really came all the way to the United States, all the way to Louisiana to come to WrestleMania and y'all gotta go back to London. That's crazy. Like, and that's when we really knew that people all over the world loved wrestling. Like, I mean, I kind of figured, but I just didn't know how big WWE and wrestling as a whole is to people. That really made me think when I was younger, bro. Like, that was amazing. But yeah, and I also do remember this Asuka and Charlotte match. I think Asuka won. I think Asuka won this match.
The undefeated Asuka coming off winning the first ever Women's Rumble against Charlotte for the title. And to say this match delivered would be an understatement. These two ladies went nuts, and even though it was the second match of the night, this felt like a big match. It was a big match. It had that big fight feel. At the time, this was easily the greatest one-on-one Women's Mania match we had ever seen. Moonsaults, submissions, some pretty crazy spots, back and forth action. The match delivered in every way. Charlotte ended up getting the win and made Asuka tap, ending her undefeated streak and retaining her title, which at the time definitely pissed off a lot of fans. But at the same time, for me, it was like, yo, the match was so good, it was kind of easy to overlook the decision at the end of the day. Like, yeah, I wanted Asuka to win as well, but the match was so damn good, and the match was everything we wanted, and it definitely lived up to the hype. So the show went on because everyone knew, hey, it's okay, we still have some bangers ahead of us. The show went on. We got a quick little fatal 4-way after this for the US title, which wasn't anything crazy, but at least it was quick, and it's all good because right after this, we got the match of the night. When Ronda Rousey made her entrance and got into the ring with Triple H, Seth, and Angle,
yes, I remember that. I remember that match. Oh man, I'm sorry because it's blurry. I didn't want it to be blurry, but a little bit blurry because, you know, my internet ain't all that nice. I'm gonna be honest. My internet is ghetto, and this is coming from my actual, you know, and my own internet and shit. It's ghetto. It's ghetto. I don't live in a ghetto, but I live in a country, but it's ghetto. But I remember this Ronda Rousey, Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon match. Ronda was putting the beats on Triple H, bro. Ronda was putting the beats on Triple H, and then Stephanie, I ain't gonna lie, she was putting the beats on Stephanie too. She was putting the beats on Stephanie too, man. But this match is something. And just to see like Ronda Rousey at the time be in the WWE was crazy. That was so crazy to me.
It was a moment. Say what you want to say about Rousey now, but at this point in her career, she was a huge star, and all eyes were on her for her debut. And these 4 men and women, when they got into the ring and that bell ring, they tore the house down. This was the match that had the loudest crowd reaction all night. This was the match that went viral. This was a match that had everyone going crazy. And to this day, this is one of the funnest wrestling matches I've ever seen. If you ever want to show someone the magic of wrestling, this match is up there. Like, you can show this to a normal person who doesn't care about wrestling, and I promise you, they'll laugh, they'll be invested, and they'll care even a tiny bit. You got a rowdy crowd, you got an MMA fighter, you got 2 legends reigniting their rivalry, you got Stephanie who's playing her character to perfection, and just all the shenanigans you can imagine. It was a classic WrestleMania match in every way.
Man.
And at this point during this show, once this match was over, I had the biggest smile on my face. When the Rousey match ended and they were heading to the back, we were 1 hour and 52 minutes into the show, and I swear to God, I had so much fun watching the first 2 hours of this show. I was so invested, I was so into it, that I still remember thinking to myself, this might be the greatest WrestleMania ever. And after the first 2 hours, how could you have not thought that? We just had 2 hours of an almost perfect WrestleMania, and we still had 2 dream matches ahead of us. The return of a GOAT, Lesnar and Roman in the main event, which last time was a classic.
Oh, that was the main event. Ooh, shit. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So I did say, I'm not gonna lie, I did say Shinsuke and AJ was the main event. I'm so wrong. I'm sorry. I got that all wrong. I forgot that Roman and Brock was the main event. That's probably why I didn't really remember that one.
How could you have not expected this to go down in history? Oh, it went down in history, all right.
Yep.
Yeah. At this very moment, at this very frame, this show had everything in place to go down as a top 5 WrestleMania of all time. Fan morale was at 100, the crowd was nuts, they were invested, the first half delivered in ways we could have only dreamed of. It was right there for them to just knock this out of the park and hit a home run. It was right there. And then it all fell apart. After the classic mixed tag match, we got a little buffer match. It was time for a quick triple threat tag match, which basically ended up being a squash match. It was cool, it's all good. The fans deserve a break, we deserve a break. It was fine, no big problem. But then after that, it was time for the first dream match of the night. It was time for John Cena versus The Undertaker. I don't even think I have to explain how massive this match was once upon a time. And it was...
I remember this match. Actually, because I remember seeing on the Jumbotron and directly on the floor, because John Cena was sitting in the area, near the area that me and my dad were at. So I seen him on the floor. I pointed him out to my dad and everything, and I pointed him out to the people that was sitting in front of me too. And bro, that moment was so hilarious because they ended up telling him something that I think that Undertaker was gonna be here, is here or something, and he ran to the back to get ready. Bro, that moment was so fire to watch, bro. That was so fire. The match, yeah, let's keep it going.
It was so massive that even in 2018, when The Undertaker was washed, it still held weight. No matter what year it was, no matter how bad Taker looked at last year's Mania, god damn it was still Cena versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Right.
The issue was, technically, we didn't know for sure if the match was actually going to go down that night.
Exactly.
But we kind of did at the same time, if that makes any sense. The company decided to run a very extra storyline for this match, and you'll see why. For a solid month leading into Mania, every week John Cena, who after failing to secure a WrestleMania match, would come out on TV and challenge The Undertaker. Every week Cena was like, I want you, Undertaker, at WrestleMania, and Undertaker would never appear, never confirm the match. So when WrestleMania went on the air, the whole storyline was that Cena was there watching as a fan, hoping and praying that somehow, someway, The Undertaker would answer his challenge and he would get his WrestleMania match. So for the first few matches, you can see Cena there as a fan. He was at ringside, taking pictures, watching the matches, and during the show after the Charlotte match, we get to see Cena get some news for a referee, and he just runs backstage, basically signaling to us, the fans, during the show that that the match was now officially confirmed. A lot of shenanigans, but it's fine. So we get to this point of the show, and it was time, right? Cena makes his entrance, the crowd goes crazy, and for the first time since 2004, it was Cena and Taker one-on-one, but now it was on the grandest stage of them all. This wasn't 04 Cena, no, this was the Cena as the GOAT. This was on WrestleMania. This was gonna be special. And as I was sitting here watching this show at home by myself, you bet your ass I called up my friend who hadn't watched wrestling in years. I knew he was a huge Cena fan from back in the day. We used to talk about it all the time, and I had to call him and tell him, yo, it's finally happening. That's how big this match was. That's how massive this match was, that I called my friend who otherwise would have never watched WrestleMania just to let him know that Cena and Undertaker is happening. I called my other friends to let them know, and before you know it, there were 4 of us in a PlayStation party real quick, all watching Mania together, just because Cena and Undertaker was finally happening. That's how massive this match was, even in 2018. They f***ed all up. Imagine gathering all your friends to watch wrestling for the first time since like 2013, and instead of getting Cena versus Taker, we sat there watching an Elias and Cena segment for 10 minutes.
Oh my god. I remember this. Oh my god, that hurts. That hurts. Because, okay, as a fan, you're sitting up here and you're there. You're expecting to see The Undertaker live. Yes, I know I look crazy with my glasses. Oh, shut up. But you're expecting to see The Undertaker there live. You're expected to hear them bells. You're expected the room to go dark, and you see a man with a hat and a coat on, ready to go, bro. And then you see Elias. Bro. You see a nigga coming out with a guitar, bro. I'm like, oh man, that bro, that hurt me. That hurt me so much. Just reliving this memory sucks. It sucks so much, man. Oh my god.
But whatever, it was fine, okay? It was fine. We believed. There was no way they weren't gonna deliver this match, right? It's WrestleMania. It's Undertaker and Cena. You've been teasing it. There's no way they're not gonna deliver it. So Elias gets clapped. Cena looks depressed. The segment keeps going on and on and on. And eventually, it finally happens. Undertaker's scary voodoo. Black magic starts happening. Lightning comes out of nowhere. Cena gets shook. And finally, The Undertaker comes out. His entrance looks amazing. He looks pretty good compared to usual. And after all the fun and games, after all this weird build, after all these shenanigans and buffoonery, the match was going down. The electricity was in the air, the fans were going crazy. Even just seeing them on one side of the ring and the other side of the ring just staring at each other, it felt surreal. The hair on my arm was standing up, no joke. This meant something to me, damn it. We used to pray for times like this. Listen, I didn't care that Taker almost died in the ring at last year's Mania. I really didn't. I just had hope that somehow Cena and Taker were gonna pull something out of their ass and drop something fun and memorable and special. We're on the PlayStation party, we're hyped, we're all amped up. Taker squashes him in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Never ever had I ever been more disappointed in a wrestling match in all my life. After all those years of wanting this match and dreaming of this match, after all the hype they literally gave us, after all the buffoonery, this is what we got? The PlayStation party was dying, okay? My boys were laughing, they were having the time of their life at just how stupid this was, and how stupid wrestling had become. This was their first time watching in years. I made them watch this for the first time in years. Cena and Taker brought them back, and this is what they got. I was just sitting there in silence, and my friend literally asked me, he's like, how do you still watch this? I didn't even know what to say. This was so stupid. And listen, I get it. Deep down, I get it. Of course, I understand it all. Taker, in their mind, was probably not in any shape to wrestle. Anyone who saw WrestleMania the year before can understand that. Even though Taker felt like he was, they just wanted to do a quick moment and call it a day. To them, it was like, well, if we don't advertise it, we don't promote it, the fans will just be happy with whatever they get. Oh, okay, great logic. Let's not advertise it, but let's just talk about it between every match during WrestleMania. Let's just spotlight it on every Monday Night Raw and SmackDown for the past month. You're still basically advertising it. You know what you're doing. And if you can't deliver, don't deliver this. Yo, you can tease us any match. I don't care. But not something as massive as this. Not Cena versus Undertaker. It was just sad because we never got this match during their primes, and we knew after this we were never gonna get it again after. And it was just like, so what was the point of this? Obviously, we were idiots for having any hope for this match being solid, I get that, but they were the ones who kept hyping it up. They were the ones who knew how massive it was, so is it really our fault for falling into the hype? You're telling me they couldn't have gone 10 minutes and just cooked something up? You're telling me The Undertaker couldn't have put his whole life and career into this and this could have been a special retirement match? You're telling me they couldn't have had some crazy 6-minute sprint like Goldberg and Lesnar at last year's Mania? I don't know, break the announce table, just go all out for 6 minutes, just give us something. Nah, we got 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that's all we got. And maybe I'm alone in this, okay, maybe a lot of you fans don't mind this, maybe you loved it, maybe for you it was just cool to see Undertaker do his thing, I understand. I'm
that
obviously
guy.
biased because this match meant a lot to me. It was the match I never got as a kid, but I just really wanted this to be something. And when I look at WrestleMania 34, when I look at this overall show, after the amazing first 2 hours, it was 30 minutes of hype and build up and everything to get this. After this, to me, everything just went downhill. But at the time, we didn't know that. At the time, it was like, yeah, this was disappointing, but hey, at least we had another dream match. At least we still had some more cool stuff coming up, right? Right? So after this, it was time for the return of Daniel Bryan. After 3 long years, after seeming like his career was over, against all odds, Daniel Bryan was back. And it was in the same stadium where he won the title 4 years prior to this. It was like a movie. I remember Bryan coming out and being so excited. The crowd was so alive once again. It was a special, special moment. Seeing Bryan, seeing how much it meant for him, he was emotional. The crowd was going crazy. The yes chants were yesing like never before. It was surreal. It was really surreal because I never really thought that.
Hold on, bro. Okay, so I'm gonna say this, and I know I've been pausing for like a minute, man. But bro, seeing Daniel Bryan there live, doing the yes chants live, bro. Oh my God! I swear to you, nothing but people chanting yes, yes, yes. Bro, that was so cool. That was so fire, bro. That was so fire. Oh my God, living in that moment was amazing, man. And it's this, and I bet you, honestly, when WrestleMania comes up, bro, you finna see a lot of people hitting this shit right here for Jey Uso, bro. You finna see a lot of people doing that. Because I don't understand, social media has ruined, I'd say, a lot of stuff for a lot of people. And you can't please everybody. But it's like, man, you gotta be there, bro. You really gotta be there, bro. Being at WrestleMania is really way better than watching it on TV, bro. It's way better.
Daniel Bryan was ever going to be back. I didn't think he was ever going to unretire, but he was here, he was wrestling, and he was back at it, and it was awesome. Then the match started. Okay, so Shane and Bryan versus Sami and KO was not a bad match whatsoever, not at all. But after the Taker and Cena debacle, after how fire and fun the mixed tag was earlier, this match started and I don't know, it was just all right. Like, it was good, it was fine. Sadly, Bryan had to do the fake injury angle for 10 minutes or so to build some heat, and you know, we had to see Shane McMahon try to wrestle for 10-15 minutes, which was kind of sad. But hey, it was obviously worth it just to see Bryan come back and tear down the house down. But I don't know, something just felt missing. Like, it was solid, it was okay, and I love seeing Bryan do his thing, but I don't know, something just felt off when I was watching this, and even now when I watch it, something just feels off. And maybe it was just a depression carrying over from the last match, but it was fine. Bryan was back, at least the crowd was hype, and the night went on. Right after this, though, is where the fatigue started hitting. So after that match, the crowd was hyped, they had fun, you know, it was cool to see Bryan come back. The next match ended up being Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss for the women's title. A match that was advertised, a match that was promoted, a match that should have 100% happened. The ladies deserved the time, I get it. The only issue was, though, by the time that match started, we were 3 hours and 20 minutes into the show. Yo, by this point, the show felt so damn long, it didn't make any sense. It genuinely felt like the first 2 hours of the show, which were top tier, 10 out of 10 amazing, it felt like that happened yesterday. And I'm sorry, bro, but 3 hours and 20 minutes into a show, the last thing I'm trying to see is 2018 Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss wrestle for 10 minutes while the crowd falls asleep. This match was rough. They had the whole promo video for it. They had obviously the entrances. Everything was so long and delayed. And this is where it really started hitting. I was like, okay, they need to pick this up, right? They need to make us feel something special again. They need to make this Mania feel like Mania again. Because the first 2 hours were amazing, but now it's just getting to the territory where it's like, what are we doing here? But luckily for us, the next match was AJ Styles versus Nakamura.
And that's the match I remember.
After these two tore the
That's the
house
match
down
I
in
remember.
Japan, 2 years after these two dropped a classic that became folklore among wrestling fans online, these two men were in the WWE. At the time, two of the greatest wrestlers in the world, most hyped up wrestlers in the world, two who seemed as if they were in their prime at the time, were now in the WWE on the grandest stage of them all. Yeah, we saw what they did in the Tokyo Dome, but now it's time to see what they could do at WrestleMania, and they were fighting for the title. Nakamura was fresh off the Rumble. AJ Styles was the defending champion who we knew was legit, who was tearing it down. This was a surreal match. Imagine telling someone in 2015 and 16 that, hey, in 2 years at Mania, you're getting this. We were getting a dream match. Yeah, the match had technically happened before, but when it's at WrestleMania, it's a different story. This was a dream match in every way. Everyone and their mom was excited for this match. The moment Nakamura won the Rumble, this was what everyone wanted. There was no other option. We didn't care about anything else. We wanted to see these two wild out at WrestleMania like it was the Tokyo Dome. We wanted to see another all-time classic happen at WrestleMania that was up there with HBK versus Angle. That was up there with HBK versus Taker. We wanted our damn WrestleMania pure classic wrestling match, and god damn it, these two were gonna deliver it. The entrances were amazing. The crowd was alive again, dueling chants before the match even happened. You can just see the crowd. They were hyped. Fans were on their feet. The world was watching. It didn't matter. We were 3 hours and 40 minutes into the show. This was gonna be generational. I hadn't been this disappointed in a wrestling match since versus The Undertaker.
No, bro. I don't even want to get mad. I don't even want to get mad. I don't even want to get mad. I don't even want to get mad, bro. Because, bro, when Shinsuke came out, I ain't gonna lie. When Shinsuke came out with the old girl playing the guitar, that was tough. That was tough, bro. That was so tough. When AJ came out, that was so tough. I was ready. I was ready because, bro, like, oh my God, bro. Oh my God, bro. That was so tough, man. The match wasn't tough. The match was ass.
The dream match flopped. We know this. The lights were just too damn bright, brother. This was a case of just circumstances and just everything being unfortunate. AJ Styles and Nakamura went out there with so much damn hype and such high expectations it didn't make any sense. The lore of their match in Japan was so strong that you had people who never even saw that match expecting this to be some next 7-star classic just from word of mouth.
Right.
The whole build for this match was literally, oh, we're getting a dream match at WrestleMania. It's gonna be a classic. When a match is literally promoted as a classic before it happens, it rarely ever lives up to that hype. This match should and could have been a classic, but it wasn't. It was far from it. Since everybody and their mom was expecting a classic, nobody bought anything for the first 15 minutes. Nobody bought any pinfalls or moves. Everyone was just waiting for them to kick into the next gear. You're 4 hours into the show, fans are kind of tired, and this was a match that everyone was hyping up to be the second coming of Jesus, right? There were so many expectations, and it kind of felt like the fans were just waiting for them to prove something, for them to start tweaking, for them to start going crazy. And then the other side was it, you could clearly tell that these two wrestlers were told, hey, don't wild out too much. We gotta milk this feud for 3 more pay-per-views. And everything just felt flat. It was just so weird because they were given some pretty decent time. Like, they were given 20 minutes. Obviously 25, 30 would have been better, but they were given 20 minutes, and on any other night, this would have been a solid match. But on this night, with this hype, with the lore that these two had, it was a huge flop. As soon as this match was about to pick up, as soon as it's like, all right, they're about to tweak now, they're about to turn up now, AJ Styles clash, boom, 1, 2, 3, got the win. And I was like, what? It never reached the next gear. We never reached the holy shit, they're tweaking part. Fans wanted mayhem, they wanted chaos, they wanted some craziness, and instead we got this. I don't get it, man. How are you gonna promote a match to be a classic? How is the whole storyline of a match that these two are gonna tear the house down, they're gonna have a classic, 5 stars already, and then you let them do this? Why don't you just let them go out and wild out? But realistically, this could have been like the main event of Fastlane or something. Ladies and gentlemen, once that 1, 2, 3 and AJ Styles won the match, the night was officially killed. This was supposed to be it, right? This was supposed to be the match that made Mania worth it. This was the Mania seller for a lot of people. This is why we were down to put up with Lesnar and Roman as the main event again. This was why we had hope after Cena and Undertaker. But when a match that the company basically promoted as a guaranteed 5-star classic ends up being a 3.5, it's over, boys. And you can't blame the fans. This was their fault. They literally promoted this match to be a classic. So if we expect a classic, you kind of let them have to have a classic, right? Nah, it was over, boys. It was over. It was like, what happened? What happened to this Mania? We were destined for greatness. The first 2 hours, we were ready to take our shirts off and start twerking. We were ready to cement this easily in top 5 Mania of all time. That's how good the first 2 hours was. That's how promising the next 2 hours looked. But fast forward 2 hours later, we just wanted the night to be over. And the worst part was, it wasn't. because 4 hours and 15 minutes into the night, which by the way doesn't include the 2-hour pre-show, we were out.
Bro, I don't even want. Bro. As a kid, the Braun Strowman and mystery tag partner versus Sheamus and Cesaro, to me, seeing a kid be a part of that match, I loved it. I loved it when I was younger because I wish that was me. Yeah, there was a little hate, but at the same time, I gave bro his props. I gave him his props because he was really there and he really got in the mix and he won the tag titles. He won the tag titles with Braun Strowman. I was going crazy because, man, I wish I could do that. Like, for real, bro.
You're getting Braun Strowman and a little kid squashing the bar for the tag titles, which, hey, I actually love this moment. I think it's a great moment. I think it's a cute moment. It was hilarious. It was fun. And even going back and watching it, I loved it. But at the time, for a lot of fans, 4 hours and 15 minutes into the show, we just saw 2 dream matches flop. We just had to sit through Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, and now this is what we're doing? Just end the show, bro. And during all of this, the resentment and anger was just building and building up. The confusion, the disappointment, everything was just building up with the fans. It was like, how the hell does WrestleMania get clapped? How did it get flipped, turned upside down like this? How do we go from, oh my god, this is amazing, to this? How did this happen? So you combine all that anger, all that frustration, and it's like, wait, the main event is Roman, Mr. Push Down Our Throats Reigns for 3 years now against part-time Lesnar. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a wrap. The main event of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns ended up being one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. Somehow, 3 years after dropping a classic, here we were getting this stinky-ass match, and it was a combination of everything coming together. Suddenly, you're watching this, and it's like, yeah, Asuka losing does piss me off more than it did before. Suddenly, Cena and the AJ match flopping made us forget how happy we were during Ronda's match. The vibe just changed. The vibe just died. There was no vibe anymore. Everyone went from super happy, we're just happy to be here, this is amazing, to why do we watch wrestling? And then you add in that the main event is a match that 90% of fans don't really care about. Of course it was gonna blow up. Roman Reigns and Lesnar dropped the stinkiest main event they could have ever possibly dropped, and the fans who were depressed at the time, they let them hear it. You know how sad it is for your WrestleMania main event to have CM Punk chants, to have the main event of WrestleMania get this is awful chants, get boring chants? This was tragic. They had Roman Reigns kick out of 4 F5s and nobody cared, okay? They had Roman Reigns bleed all over the damn place like he was Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13 to gain sympathy, and nobody cared. They put out every single stop to get fans to care about this, but nothing worked. Nobody cared because after the last 3 hours, nothing was gonna work. See, nobody really wanted the WrestleMania 31 main event either, if you remember that, but that show was so damn good that going to the main event, everyone was buzzing, the vibes were immaculate, everyone was happy at how good the show was, and they gave the match a chance and they went in open-minded. And I promise you, if the second half of the show was better, the fans would have been much more nicer to this match and much more receptive. But nah, after you make them depressed for the last 3 hours, of course you're gonna feel it for the stinky main event. Everyone was just begging for it to be over, man. It was so bad. It was so stupid. The crowd didn't care. Suplex punch, F5, Superman punch, F5, F5, F5. And just to make things even worse, they had Brock Lesnar win the match. What the
Mind you, before anybody else say something, this is Vince McMahon's work. This was Vince McMahon's work. Mind you, when Brock Lesnar went back into Gorilla, he threw the championship on Vince McMahon, and Vince wanna get mad at Brock because listen to the people. Do you not hear any of this? I would be pissed off too, cause bro, what are we doing?
So after 3 years of pushing Roman Reigns down her throat, they still couldn't pull the trigger at Mania because now they wanted him to be the sympathetic figure. Guys, does it look like the crowd has any sympathy for this man? They don't care. Easily the worst WrestleMania main event I've ever watched live in my life, okay? Miz and Cena wasn't this bad. As much as I hated that match, it wasn't even this bad. This match was so bad that after the show went off the air, Lesnar literally threw the title at Vince backstage because even he knew this was cooked. And WrestleMania 34 went off the air, just leaving everyone depressed. I told you, the most confusing, frustrating, and disappointing WrestleMania of all time. I don't get it. What kind of drugs do you have to be on to book something like this? How does this end up like this? How do you get 5 hours of straight confusion? Yo, it's one thing if the cards suck going into this and the show ended up sucking. You know what? We expected. It's normal. It's life, right? It's one thing if the main event just sucked and everything else, you know, delivered into the house down. It's cool. Nobody cares. But this was just so weird. It had everything going for it. It had an amazing card on paper. There was so much hype. The fans were begging for something special. There was so much promise. And the worst part was the first 2 hours were amazing. For 2 hours, we were teased with greatness and just this perfect WrestleMania. It was everything everyone ever wanted.
Right,
and then,
bro.
Like I said a million times today, it just all fell apart. Is it the worst WrestleMania of all time? No, I don't think so. It's not that bad. It's not a 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It was just, but it's definitely the most frustrating. And in my opinion, for me, just because of the wasted potential, it's my most hated. Like, how do you have 2 dream matches fail to deliver anything? How do you have the main event get this as boring chance at WrestleMania? You know how cooked it is to have the highlight of the last 3 hours of your show is a kid getting tagged into a tag match? It was cooked. I hate this WrestleMania. This brings back nothing but bad memories, and it just hurts. It just hurts because I was so excited for this. This was supposed to be so good. This was supposed to be special, and it was till it wasn't. And now every time I think of WrestleMania 34, I just feel disgusted. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this mania. Am I overreacting? Am I being extra? Or am I being correct? Am I valid in my opinion on this one?
If I'm honest, he does have a point, but at the same time, I get it. With the knowledge that I have, with the knowledge that I have now, yeah, I get it. I get why people would be upset. I get why people would be confused. I get why people would not like this WrestleMania. But again, to me, as a kid, that was fun. That was so fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it until it wasn't enjoyable for people anymore. That's what it is, because I've never went to WrestleMania, and this being my first time going to WrestleMania, and I've always seen WrestleMania when it, well, not always. I've caught WrestleMania whenever it was came to TV, when it was a pay-per-view. But the wrestling nerd in me wants to say that, yeah, I don't like this WrestleMania. But the kid in me says, no, you went there. You enjoyed yourself. You had the time of your life. This is one of the things that you've always wanted to do. And who knows when will be the last time you'll do it again. So enjoy the moment that you've had. Enjoy the moment that you've had while you were there. Because at the end of the day, you really can't change what happened. You got to see The Undertaker. You got to see a bunch of your favorite wrestlers. So you enjoyed yourself. that's how I felt. That's how the kid version of me feels, honestly. But yeah, man. But if y'all enjoyed the video, and also let me know how y'all feel about this WrestleMania. Let me know how y'all feel about WrestleMania 34, man. With that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. With that being said, we back. Like I said, we back, man. And with that being said, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.